All right. Okay. I may have to do a little bit of finagling here with the post, so give me a moment. But hopefully, you guys have got the updated link there. I am so sorry. I don't know why it wasn't like it would let me click on the established live stream like plan thing that I had going on, but it wasn't letting me start it. I'm not sure why. No idea. Oh, technology, it's a joy. I'm just having the best day today, let me tell you. So, okay, change that link. Hi, Chandler. I'm glad you found me. Hey, there's quite a few of you now. So, we may have to establish some ground rules for today. And those ground rules are that Miss Galloway doesn't know much of anything about grades. Okay? I'm still kind of waiting on admin to give me particular guidance on stuff. So you can feel free to ask, but just know I don't know. Yeah? Okay. All right. That's CompGov updated. Let me go and update Honors World. And then I will jump back in and look at what you're typing and everything like that. So apologies. Okay. Okay. So today, what you guys are doing is listening to me cough from my allergies. My apologies. You are for Honors World. You are taking an assessment for me for Unit 7 because we are done with Unit 7, which means that next unit we'll be talking about absolutism and the Enlightenment and all sorts of cool stuff there. And then we will be moving on from there to revolutions, which is, as my AP CompGov kids know, my favorite. And then CompGov today you get to just listen to lectures. That's all you're doing. I'm not asking you to do anything else, but I am asking you to understand the glory that is the Mexican Revolution. And it breaks my heart because I have to do it in like the actual revolution. I think I teach in 3 slides. I have taken 4 classes on just the Mexican Revolution. So like it kind of breaks my heart that that's where we are. But, I mean, that's what college is for. So at any rate, there we go. I think everything is updated now. Whew, hopefully. Morning. How you doing, Alani? Yeah? Oh, okay. Now I can turn my music back on. Now I can think. So, what is everybody doing today on your last day before spring break, as it were? I'm not sure what spring break is. Have you guys ever watched Downton Abbey? If you haven't, I recommend it. And there's this character. So Downton Abbey is an upstairs downstairs story where you have very very wealthy people, and then you have the servants, and it's essentially a soap opera, but it's a pretty good one. I mean, it's telenovela. It's an English language telenovela, is what it is. Like that's what Downton Abbey is. Like people who think like they're highfalutin for like enjoying Downton Abbey, and then like make fun of people who enjoy soap operas or telenovelas are like full of it because it's the same thing. But at any rate, uh, in Downton Abbey, there is this character played by Maggie Smith, who is Professor McGonagall in the Harry Potter movies, if you don't know her for anything else. But she is also Dame Maggie Smith and is an amazing British actress in her own right. And she plays the character of the Dowager Countess, the widow of the previous guy who was in charge. And it's set at the beginning, at least around like 1912. And she is like super wealthy and well-to-do and everything, and she just doesn't understand like working people at all. And there's this wonderful part where a character says something about how, he'll have to do it after the weekend is over. And he's a working person. He's professional. He's a lawyer and everything. And Maggie Smith does this wonderful delivery of, what is a weekend? Because yeah, she doesn't need weekends because she's super wealthy, right? And I think of that a lot now. What is a weekend? Yeah. So you're finishing up your art assignment and then attending a physics Zoom. Sounds like a full day. Excellent. I am on a new sewing project for right now. The other sewing project is not like forgotten or anything like that. This one was just my decision to try to do something that was going to be productive and useful, because I kind of want to go over to my parents' house and at least see them from the yard, like go over and hang with them in the yard from a safe distance. But before I do that, I decided I need a face mask, and I don't have one, so I am making one out of tea towels. This is where we are. So I am making a face mask currently. That is what I am doing. Mhm. So, what else is going on? What is your art project, Alani? What are you doing? You made cinnamon oatmeals with a banana. Nice. That sounds delicious. No, Chandler. I have plenty of face masks. Mhm. Make a piece inspired by a pop art movement artist. Excellent. And you said yesterday that you'd looked into Yayao Kusama. She is one of my favorites. I just adore her work. I love, like the Infinity Mirrors got a lot of press here in Atlanta because the exhibit came here, and as well it should, because it's an astounding exhibit. But she's been doing installation art and experiments with reproduction of images for a long, long time. She had this really interesting performance art piece, which is a traveling exhibit called Narcissus Gardens, that's been around since like the 70s. And it was installed in the botanical gardens in Atlanta last year. And so I made my mom and her friend, who likes the botanical garden anyway, I was like, let's make a day trip. I want to go see it and I want to take pictures. And I'm part of a Facebook group for AP Art History teachers. Like, we do a lot of professional development on there. So I went to the Atlanta Botanical Gardens to go check it out and take pictures and then share them with the group so that people could show kind of like how the installation has changed since the 70s. Send help. Your little sister thinks she's a cheerleader mermaid. Okay. All right. So can you please explain? I need more details. What exactly does a cheerleader mermaid do? I mean, no judgment. I'm just kind of confused. How old is your little sister, Kamaya? Chandler, Noemi brought you cookies too? She also brought them to Ashlyn. So Noemi was like out being a good fairy yesterday. A fairy with like she keeps flipping and flapping her legs wrapped around. Okay. Interesting. So, oh, I can show you that. That could be a thing I pull up for you. So let's see here. Maybe not. Okay. Sorry. My apologies. I'm checking messages and I had one from my department head. Um, let me see. Speaking of mermaids, my dears. So I will have to find you these pictures because they are just astounding. Sometimes there are pictures that you're like, why did I take that? And then sometimes there are ones where you're like, no, that was necessary. Can I get there from here? There it is. No, that's not what I wanted. Photos. There we go. All right, let me scroll back enough and I will find them. So several years ago, we lost my grandfather and we went to Florida to for his memorial service, and he, we gathered together and everything, and my family wanted to stay on the beach for the memorial service, which whatever, that's cool, that makes sense, I get it. So we were going to stay on the beach for this memorial service, and we stayed in this weird little motel, like on the beach, like, and if you've ever been to like older parts of Florida, not like a Hilton or anything like this, there are these kind of like roadside motels, and they're kind of charming in their own little way. And they're individual little bungalows that sort of open up onto the beach, which is really nice. But ours had murals painted inside it, and Kamaya, the murals were of mermaids. But not mermaids like you have ever seen before in your life. Um, they were astounding mermaids. And I'm going to find you the pictures because they are the most horrifying thing. Wow, they are just terrifying, and you have to see them in order to believe them. So give me a minute. I'm scrolling back through the history of time on my phone here, and when I find them, I will put it up for you. Let's see here. Hmm. There they are. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Prepare to be astounded. Okay. Here. These are the murals that were in our hotel room. They're terrifying. They're so frightening. Like, we were supposed to sleep in rooms that had these things in them, and they were horrific. So, like, they got worse the closer you got to them. And this one was in the living room of like the suite. I mean, look at it. Look how terrifying that is. It's so the no finger pointy like knife arms. It's so terrifying. Look at her. Look. Look at that. Look at her face. So my sister and I were like, "Okay, all right, we're trapped here, and we have to make the best of this." So then we were like, "You know what this requires? Remaking the entire image." So that's my sister. This is what happens when you're really bored and when you have terrifying murals in your hotel room. So there you go. So Kamaya, if your sister is jumping around, like flipping her legs wrapped in a blanket, like, it's fairly normal behavior, dude. Yeah. Absolutely terrifying. Like, the funny thing is that I posted that on Facebook, like those pictures on Facebook, like years ago when we actually did this. And every year it pops back up in my memories. And I'm like, oh no, everyone must be re-exposed to this because it is so horrific. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe she does need some sunlight. Sorry, I'm looking at instructions. Yeah. So Noemi made cookies for people and then brought them around to some friends. That's really nice. What else have you guys been up to that has been productive and like made you feel happy? Did you watch anything good on television last night, or on Netflix, or on Prime, or any of the other various services out there? Hey, Jeanette, you've made a lot of progress on your 2,000-piece puzzle. Whoa, man. What's the puzzle of? Hunters. Oh, I haven't seen it yet. I saw that it's available for me to like I can rent it, I guess, on my like television, but I haven't watched it. Yeah. You recently watched Monty Python, The Holy Grail? Like, dude, welcome to the world of being able to quote it constantly. Although, frankly, my favorite Monty Python is actually Life of Brian. That one's my favorite. Yeah. You found seasons 13 through 15 on Criminal Minds. Oh no. Well, yeah, The Piano is a good film. You're right. And Polanski is also a terrible human. Terrible humans sometimes make art that is beautiful. But you also have to remember, like, that your enjoyment of it is one thing, and it's acceptable to, I think it's okay for you to be exposed to media by artists who are deeply problematic. If you are aware of that, you know, if you are willing to engage critically with your own response to it and think about what that means, you know? Um, I mean, there are lots of artists whose work I enjoy who are problematic. And I think the moment you try, like, do I think that there should be consequences to actions? Heck yeah. And those consequences can and often should include boycotts and things like that, especially if the person is around and still producing work. But if you look at the history of artistic production in the world, much of it is linked to men in the world, right? Historically. We can get into the power structures of that later, but like that's a fact. And not all of those people have been good. And sometimes great art has been made out of great suffering, right? Um, and I think if you try to make the argument that you're only going to consume art and work that is absolutely ethically faultless, you will have no art to consume, none. So I think the best thing for us to do is to be able to go into art clear-eyed and to think about how we engage with it. Um, am I ever going to pay to see a Woody Allen film again? No, never, ever. Mm-mm. Um, and, am I going to do that? Why? Well, because I know what he did, and I know that he would be directly profiting from my willingness to ignore that. But Polanski's The Pianist was made a while back. And you consumed it without knowing or realizing who it was. So now you've consumed it. It's a beautiful film. The performances are excellent, you know? Um, it's worth considering the notion that you got something out of art beyond Polanski. Yeah. Um, and I think that's important because, I mean, like, dude, when you get into like the ethics of artistic consumption, like it gets really difficult. I'm not saying give yourself a pass. I'm saying give yourself permission to engage with works and artists that are problematic, so long as that you do so in as open and transparent in a manner as possible. Yeah. I don't think you need to practice self-flagellation because you consumed something and then realized after the fact that that the person isn't perfect, and moreover is harmful, right? I don't know. This is me just babbling because I have an hour and a half to fill. Yeah. I mean, like when I was 10, I wanted to read the longest book I could possibly think of. And because I was that kid. And so I decided I wanted to read Gone with the Wind. You know, I live in Georgia. It's kind of a cultural thing. So my parents bought me Gone with the Wind. And then my dad sat me down and said, all right, you can read this. We're never going to tell you you can't read something. You can always read whatever you want. But before you read it, you need to know that there are certain words and ideas in this text that are not acceptable. They are never acceptable. They are not acceptable in private. They are not acceptable in public. They are not acceptable in our house, in school, or in any form. And she's wrong about a lot of things in this book. But it's okay for you to read things so long as you realize that you don't have to take them as the truth. So I read Gone with the Wind at 10. And I'm not sorry I did, you know? I think it's important to be able to distinguish between cultural consumption and awareness and like the notion of total ideological purity. Yeah. But that's me. So, Jeanette, what is your puzzle of? I'm afraid I didn't ask that earlier. Mhm. Yeah, Life of Brian is pretty irreverent, I will say. And there's definitely some nudity, but there's some nudity in whatchamacallit, in Holy Grail as well, isn't there? Let's see here. Good. Okay. Mhm. Yeah, there's a little bit. It's not much, but yeah, there is a little bit of nudity there. There's not a whole lot in Life of Brian either. There's just, some where you're like, couldn't show that in school. Um, yeah. So I will admit I'm pretty sad today. So I'm not feeling particularly funny. So let us come up with something that gives us enjoyment. And tell me about the first concert you have ever been to. What was your first concert that you went to? What was the best concert that you went to? Those two things are probably very different. Yeah. So, what was the first concert you went to and the best? You left your blanket in the back of my classroom. Well, Kamai, you know what that means? You'll have to come back and visit me. Legendary boy band Big Time Rush. I don't even know who that is. That was your first one? Yeah. Fall Out Boy in Tennessee. It's the only one that you've ever been to. All right. I'm not entirely sure what my first concert was. Like, legitimately, I'm not. Um, I know I went to a Bonnie Raitt concert when I was really young with my parents, at Chastain, and that was really fun. I'm trying to think what other early ones I went to. Best concert I probably ever went to was the Pixies at Music Midtown in like 2004 and 2005. It was pouring down rain. All of my friends were like, I want to go see the Black Eyed Peas. And I was like, it's the Pixies. Do you even music? And so they went to go see the Black Eyed Peas, and I stuck it out with the Pixies, and it was amazing. It was so good. Yeah, probably not, Kamaya, alas. What's the most embarrassing concert you've ever been to? The one that you wouldn't. Your puzzle is an ocean? The only concert you've been to is Bad Bunny? Well, dude, you chose well, man. I'm super jealous. You retracted your message. Oh, okay. And Bad Bunny? Yeah. I'm super jealous. Have you been listening to his new album? I really like it. A lot. Yeah. Also, he is just like seriously a solid human being. I really appreciate him. Yeah. Like last summer, man, I was listening to Afilando los Cuchillas constantly. Like it's just seriously good. Like as protest music goes, that's serious stuff, man. I'd make a terrible seamstress. My seams are terrible here. Oh well. We'll just deal. Is what it is. You had a K-pop phase in middle school? Hey, man, like if music gives you joy, I don't particularly care what it is. It's not my thing. I don't listen to it, but like if it makes you happy, to quote Sheryl Crow from my youth, it can't be that bad. Yeah. It's so good. Are you talking about Afilando los Cuchillas? Yeah. It's like I just the fact that they turned that thing around in like 24 hours, it just is astounding. I love it. Alt Latino did a really excellent podcast episode just on that song, and like its connection to the removal of the governor in Puerto Rico last summer, and it's just like it's cool when music is more than music, right? When it's like an expression of political action, like that is really awesome. I love it. Third class, Miss Galloway would like to teach political action through music. Heck yeah, that'd be a good one. So what's the yeah, so Kamaya said that she had an embarrassing K-pop phase in middle school. What is the most embarrassing like concerts that you've been to outside of that, guys? Like the person when you're like, can't believe I did that. Hmm. You had a class like that at GHP that featured a lot of Madonna. My comm arts classes, we did songwriting in my comm arts classes, and we did uh what should I call it? We did a lot of I'm trying to think parodies and things like that. And I took a class on Madness and the Artist, and we did a lot of analysis of like David Bowie and like all sorts of stuff, like Major Tom and a number of other songs that kind of deal with like madness and creativity and sort of stuff. And it was awesome. If I pinned that in the wrong place, no, it's still okay. Yeah. Oh, speaking of JHP, Chandler, I can't believe they didn't put it up. I told Miss Gorin that she was welcome to send it to Mr. Moody, even though it was horrifically embarrassing. But for Throwback Thursday, I sent in some pictures of me. Beyond, I know this one was on the Instagram feed, right? Check out the excellent bandana. Yeah. Yeah. So like that one was on the Instagram feed, but here. So I sent in some pictures from GHP when I was there. Yeah. So this is 16-year-old Miss Galloway at GHB. And that's my buddy Mary. And Mary is an ER doc out in California right now. So I've been chatting with her actually a lot right now. And she's super great. She was a math person at GHP, and I was comm arts. And we did not understand each other very much, but she was very cool, and I like her a lot. And we are still friends. And then the pièce de résistance, I'm saying it incorrectly, is a photograph from the 70s night dance that we had at GHP in 1999. So I present you with this piece of nonsense. Yeah. Only slight regret and embarrassment over that one. There you go. So I sent those in to Miss Gorin. I can't believe she didn't put those out. A complete aesthetic. It's not a thing, Chandler. Yeah, there you go. It was a choice. Well, I'll tell you what, I was looking through photographs the other day when they told us they wanted pictures like that. And I was like, okay, all right, I'll sacrifice my dignity on this one. That's okay. I can do that. And I was trying to find, because I won't say it wasn't a goth phase. It was more like grunge because, yeah, late 90s. It wasn't a goth phase. It was more grunge. There were Doc Martens involved. Sort of like if you've ever seen My So-Called Life, there was a lot of that in terms of fashion choices. And I was looking to see if I had any photographs, but I was wily and clever and avoided photographs, and I'm grateful for it. Mm-hmm. It always cracks me up to see you guys like dress up like you think the 90s are. And I'm like, you're just like, no, you're just Fresh Prince of Bel-Airing it. That's what you're doing. That's early 90s, guys. You're conflating all of the 90s together. That's basically all you know is Fresh Prince. Fair enough, man. Maxing out, relaxing, all cool. Well, if that is the case, if that is the far extent of your understanding of the 90s, then I highly recommend My So-Called Life. I mean, it's like super dramatic in a way that like, all teen dramas are, but it has Claire Danes in it and Jared Leto before he was super weird. All you know about the 90s is Nirvana. Well, first of all, Nirvana is amazing. So I'm glad you know Nirvana. Um, but if you don't also know Liz Phair and like kind of like the Lilith Fair musical performances and stuff like that, then like what even are you doing, If you can't sing every line to Fiona Apple's Criminal, I don't even want to know you. Sorry. Listened to a lot of angry girl music in the 90s. That's what I did. I continue to do that. I'm going to have to, Chandler, what I'll have to do is I'll put together a Spotify playlist of music that you need to know. That won't make me sad. That you need to know it, Like, I feel like that's a thing that has to happen. I have to rejigger your graduation playlist now. Have to figure that out. So, what music have you been listening to right now? Stuff that makes you happy, or stuff that at least helps you deal with it. Yeah. What are you listening to? Very good. Okay. You have one playlist with many songs you've collected so far. You've been listening to country music, so you can feel like it's summertime and you're at the beach. Ah, I'm not crazy about a lot of pop country, but I do really enjoy a lot of outlaw country, alt country, classic stuff. Like, I mean, anybody who doesn't like Dolly Parton is automatically deeply suspect to me. Um, and I'll tell you what I've really liked, Sydney. I don't know if this is your jam or not, but the Highwomen. If you haven't heard that, I highly recommend the entire album. It is like solid gold. It's a bunch of pissed off women country artists who got mad about the fact that radio stations weren't playing a lot of country hits, uh, work by women artists. Like, it's all dudes when you turn on, like, country music stations and everything. They weren't getting any radio play. And so they created this super group. And they're really, really good. It's like deeply feminist stuff, and I find it really awesome. I have pretty much played it into the ground. Yeah. Here, let me find one for you. And the whole thing is the name of the group is actually a play on a super group of sort of country folk artists that developed in the 80s and early 90s called the Highwaymen. So this one's called the Highwomen, and it actually rewrites one of their songs from a female perspective, um, and it's so good. Um, let's see here. What can I find you for? I mean, this one right here is a little bit poppy, but I do enjoy it. Mhm. Yeah. I'm not much into like boot scoot and boogies, but like this is the sort of country that I like. Mhm. Nice. It's always nice when people like give you music, right? Like it feels like a gift when you find somebody who's singing the stuff that you think or that makes you really happy, right? But I like a lot of different kinds of music. I used to be one of those people who was like, I like everything except, and then I'd be like, I don't really like hip hop. And then I was like, actually, once I listened to some stuff, I was like, no, no, I do. It really depends on the individual artist, though, right? Yeah, growth is finding out what music you like and, like, being willing to listen to stuff that you weren't sure that you were going to like. Like, there's some genres that I listen to more than others, but generally speaking, if the lyrics are sound, if there's a decent melody, if there's craft involved, like, I'll listen to it. I'm not I haven't learned to appreciate electronic music as much as I think, some people do, but, you know, if it were the right stuff, I'd probably like it. You never thought you'd like electronic, but you do? Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things where I just find that, especially, going to college in Athens, like, there's music everywhere, and if you're not willing to, like, listen to new stuff, then I think you're doing doing college wrong. I do things a lot like, my friends would be like, "Hey, there's a concert. You wanna come here?" And I'd be like, "I have no idea who's playing, but sure, I would be happy to." My one big music regret about living in Athens was that I never saw REM. Sometimes they would come out and do just, like, random sets at, like, the 40 Watt and stuff like that. You'd buy tickets to go hear somebody else, and then, like, there'd be, like, the opener, and then they'd be like, "Oh, and we also have REM here to play for you a little bit." And, I had tickets to a show at the 40 Watt, um, and then I got swamped with work, and I was like, I have to buckle down, I can't go tonight. I got too many deadlines to meet, and so I gave my tickets to somebody else, and, they came out and played a set, and I missed them. I was so pissed, but whatever. Mhm. And sometimes you luck into weird shows that, like, I went to go see a band called Kara's Flowers, um, in Athens, which later became Maroon 5. That was really weird. So they weren't even Maroon 5 yet. They were a good show, actually. That was a fun one. Yeah, it was a good show, actually. It was a very good one. It was like the summer before they kinda hit it big with, like, Songs About Jane. Trying to think, who else did I see that was pretty awesome? Oh, White Stripes. That was a great concert. Not much for arena concerts, though. Like, I am not one to spend, like, $1,000,000 to go watch people, like, have light shows behind them. It's not my thing. Green Day, Fall Out Boy, and Weezer were and are on tour. Green Day's fun. Weezer I've seen in concert once, but, like, that was that was in college, and, like, the unquestionably, the best Green Day albums are the Blue Album and the Green Album. Those are the best. Everything else after that is okay. It's alright. It is acceptable, but not excellent. And, and they were okay and alright. It was a fun night, but it wasn't like the best, you know? Chandler's also like Chandler's right. Weezer is awesome. The worst speeding ticket I ever got in my life was because I was driving home from college and blasting the Blue album because it was a beautiful day and I had the windows down and it was playing My Name is Jonas and I was like, the workers are going home and really, really like just enjoying the drive. And then all of a sudden there were lights behind me. Whoops. Mhm. He likes the cover of TLC's No Scrubs. No, no. You don't cover No Scrubs. You don't touch Left Eye's work. Yeah? You don't. Mm-mm. No. Incorrect. I don't know what y'all thinking, but no, you don't cover No Scrubs. There's a song I can probably recite. Tell her I've never in my life more fundamentally disagreed, but in the most diplomatic and UN way. Well, Chandler, you have to understand here that there are certain objective truths in the universe. And one of them is that TLC's No Scrubs is perfect, and that any cover of it is just sacrilege. It's like It's like anyone other than Billie Holiday singing Strange Fruit, or anyone other than Nina Simone singing Sinner Man. Like, you can try. Good luck. You're wrong. Oh, hang on. Okay. Dr. Roach might jump into the chat really quickly here. I think she might tell you something. I don't know. That song perfectly describes how your parents met. Hanging out the window of your best friend's ride, trying to holler at you. Hmm? Well, to each their own, man. Yeah, so if I make a playlist for Chandler of 90s music that he needs to learn to appreciate, it will include the original No Scrubs and it will include Waterfalls, obviously. Probably some Alicia Keys. Yeah. And definitely Lauryn Hill. Oh, well, it's a story for the children. Evidently, it was. Yeah. Yeah, she's marvelous. I adore her. Pretty much listened to the album that had Falling on it, like until it fell apart. Okay. Your dad is putting pine cones in your backyard? Why, Chris? Why? What is he doing? Oh, by the way, Chris, I didn't congratulate you. Congratulations on making your college decision. I'm very proud of you. Oh, where did he? Oh, hey, Dr. Roach. Where did he decide? I believe. I mean, Chris, are you comfortable with making me? Yeah, I do too, honey. I'm fingers crossed for all of y'all on that. Chris, you okay with me staying online? Yeah. I'll wait for a yes. Yeah. He decided he's going to Oglethorpe next year. He got scholarships and we're very excited. Yay. Oglethorpe is great. Copycat. The campus is lovely. Yeah. Okay, Dr. Roach wants some volunteers, possibly. I assume that this is to go and make copies? Probably not. That's what I always wind up asking volunteers for. All right, so what do you need volunteers for, Dr. Roach? No, I can't unmute you. Like there's no it's a one-way stream. So there's no audio for anybody in the chat. The chat is just text. Okay. So she needs volunteers for the econ challenge. Mhm. So what needs to happen? Just go ahead and put it into the chat and then I can say it out loud for those who can't read it online. She needs 3 volunteers to take an econ exam today. So maybe consider if your schedule, your busy social calendar right now will let you take an econ test. How long are we talking about? How long does it would it take, Dr. Roach? Before midnight? Okay. Yeah. If I'm, by the way, Dr. Roach, if I'm not making eye contact with my camera right now, it is because I'm busy sewing a face mask. So, 30 to 45 minutes is what allowed. Okay. And I presume it's an online thing, right? Oh, yeah. Yeah. They threw a grenade right into the middle of everything for me in terms of uh, information yesterday. I'm still recovering. We'll get there. Okay. Noemi, you have had both. You would be great for this. So, Noemi, she's calling you out. Yeah. Can you spare 30 to 45 minutes? Oh, there we go. Chandler said yes. All right. So that's another one. Do you need somebody else? Ooh. Surely there's somebody out there who would be willing to take a test for 30 to 45 minutes. Okay. 30 to 45 minutes. Hmm. I'm sure you could find 30 to 45 minutes. Yeah? So is there a link that they need to go to? Need at least one more minimum, have to sign them up and then send them a link. Okay. All right. So would you like me? I can send out a remind to the classes and just see if I can get somebody to respond on that one. It'll be a general econ test. Okay. Okay. Well, if you're going to send it out, I probably won't then because I don't want to bombard them and you'll know the direct information, right? I don't want to send out, I've already sent out more reminds today because for whatever bizarre reason, the live stream was not functioning initially. Yeah. No problem. I don't mind. Yeah. You're always welcome to jump in on these. Usually, all we do is kind of like briefly go over stuff and I answer questions if anybody has it. And then we just talk. Yeah, the kids can see everything you're typing right now. Mhm. Yep, it's a public chat. Mhm. Yeah, have a wonderful day, Dr. Roach. And I'll talk to you later. Well, I'll give you a call probably. Maybe not tonight, maybe sometime next week. Okay? Yeah. Let's see here. How's everything going on? All right. Okay. Well, that's positive. Oh, good. Yay. I'm checking to see if my honors kids are able to get into CTLS and if they're being able to do an assessment for me. See you later, Dr. Roach. Yeah. Thank you if you agreed to do that. That's very helpful. Yeah. And let's see here. Hmm. So, what are you guys going to do to make yourself have a spring break, even if you can't go anywhere? Yeah. I am going to rejigger my classes. That's what I'm going to do. You're going to play games with friends online. Nice. Is anyone going to make themselves think that they're at the beach? You know, get a little kiddie pool out and lay out on the grass and pretend like you're at the beach. Maybe put on some sound effects on your phone so it sounds like the waves. If you do that sort of thing, I want to see pictures. You'll most definitely be doing that. Mhm. Yeah. Hey Avery, how you doing, lady? It's good to see you virtually. How am I? I've had better days. I'm okay. Talking to you guys helps. Yeah. We were just talking about what we're going to do to try and make a spring break when you can't go anywhere. So, what are you going to do to make it feel like a spring break? Um, because it's important for us to like draw lines, right? And to make sure that we give ourselves things to do. So, I think I have a number of art projects and things like that that I want to work on. I have a video I need to make for Dr. Gable. Mm, a secret project. Yeah. See you later, Chris. Take care. Go wash your hands. Yeah. But yeah, I have to go. I have to figure out how to do a video project. And my family has, I've taught my parents how to use Zoom. So we've been having sort of like family chats, which is always nice. And my aunt popped into one yesterday, which was really good to see her. So, and I think what I'm going to do is, if you guys are cool with it and it makes sense for you, I think what I would like to do is just send out kind of a, um, the problem is if I do a full magnet Zoom, and I would like to, just for the seniors, like there's 100 of you. If you all jump online at once, it's going to be impossible for any of us to chat. What we could do is we could do it by class. But I know some of you guys want to be able to talk to people outside of your class and everything like that. But I don't know. Maybe I could do kind of like what Dr. Roach, what Mr. Ald is doing with like Magnet Tea Time, and just give you like maybe 3 opportunities through the week to come and like hang out and chat for an hour or so. You've started watching the Marvel movies in order. Okay, now the question is, are you watching them in the order that they came out or in the chronological order of the stories? Because those are two different things. Like, which order are you going by? I have to admit I haven't seen all of the Marvel movies. Like I missed Thor 2, Thor 1. I'm okay with both of those things. Didn't see any of the Ant-Mans. Yeah. Um you're going chronological? Okay. hmm I think I missed Iron Man 2 as well. Yeah. I don't really care because I have decided that as much as I enjoy some of the Marvel universe, like Thor Ragnarok is just a delightful romp. And I will watch it a million times because it just makes me endlessly happy. And Black Panther is a legitimately great movie and I so enjoy it. And I will watch it a million times. But then there's, like Iron Man is fun. Captain America is fun. But they don't like really do a lot for me. But the one Marvel film that does make me endlessly happy is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And I think I'm going to watch it again tonight because it is just so great. Like, I don't know how many times I cried in that movie and how many times I laughed out loud. It is just a delightful film. Um, Yeah, see you later, Avery. Yeah, take care. And if I decide to do some like just senior magnet class Zooms for you guys to chat, I'll send out the link and I'll let you know. Okay. We miss you too. Yeah. But yeah, if you have not seen Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, solid recommend. You cried in the theater. I cried on my couch. I cried on my couch and then I kept laughing on my couch and then I was like, "Oh my gosh, the animation is so beautiful." Um and Miles Morales has always been I'm okay, like when it comes to comics, I'm not a Marvel person. I'm a DC person with comics. Like I greatly prefer DC comics over Marvel comics. I just do. Yeah. I mean, there have been some really good ones. Kelly Sue DeConnick's run on Captain America is really good. Ms. Marvel is really good. I enjoy those. But like I'm a DC person. Yeah. Um, so like you want to get into DC comics more? Okay. So it really depends what you're into. Um, I really got into DC Comics in college because I'm a nerd, and also because I do like Batman is a favorite. I do like Batman, but more than that, I like some of the Robins and Nightwing. And there was a wonderful. I'll have to look up the artist and the author, but there was a wonderful run on with when Tim Drake was Robin. Tim Drake is my favorite Robin. Shut up, everybody is wrong if you say otherwise. A lot of people like Jason Todd. I don't. He's better as Red Hood, but Tim Drake, best Robin. Um, yeah. So I like those. That's always good. Let's see here. What else do I like out of DC? Um, Vertigo imprint isn't DC, is it? Vertigo imprint was really good. Spider-Man Far From Home was so good. Spider-Man Far From Home made me laugh endlessly because we had just got back from the Central Europe trip and I was like, "Oh no. No, you know what this is? This is a documentary about chaperoning teenagers." That's what it is. Like, yeah, it's supervillains, yeah, whatever, but it was a documentary about how it feels to chaperone teenagers. That's what it was. Anybody who thinks it was anything else is incorrect. I just laughed constantly through it. And like no one else in the theater was laughing at the same things I was because like I was laughing at the chaperone stuff. And I was like, yeah, yeah, I feel that. I feel that on a spiritual level. Yeah, Prague. Yeah, being in Prague and being like, yeah, this is about right. I do like what's his face? Who's the current Spider-Man? It's a cutie. Um, can't remember. I like him as Spider-Man though. I think he works pretty well. But Miles Morales is a far superior Spider-Man anyway. Tom Holland, yes, thank you. I was like, I know who it is. He's British, even though I think he shouldn't be. Um, not that he can control that. Sydney. Like I can't throw stones, honey. He's a cutie. And he doesn't seem like a jerk, so I give you permission. Unrealistic celebrity crush on a decent human being. It's acceptable. Yeah. So let's see here. What else can you do to make yourself happy this week coming up? Oh, I have a movie recommendation for some of you guys. If you have never seen it, I highly recommend I think it's 1985. Might be 1987, somewhere around there. It's late 1980s. Um, the film adaptation of the board game Clue. If you have never watched Clue the movie, then you are sad and you don't even know it yet. Okay? Because Clue the movie is amazing. It is delightful. If you enjoyed Knives Out, then you need to watch Clue because part of Knives Out is a direct reference and like mockery of Clue. And Clue is just fantastic. Has Tim Curry as this weird butler guy, and it has a ton of different actors that you will recognize, although you won't know why, like Leslie Ann Warren, and it's got oh my goodness, she was in Blazing Saddles. She is delightful. She was in Young Frankenstein, which again, that's another one you guys need to watch. I will think of it. Madeline Madeline Kahn. That's her name. As Mrs. White, the board game piece, and she is the funniest thing in the world. It has 3 alternate endings, um, which initially, when they released the film in theaters, they sent the actual film out randomly, and it depended on what theater you were seeing it in, as to like what physical room you were in, as to what ending you got. And a lot of people were like, "I don't get this. This is super weird. I don't understand." But I highly recommend it. It is hilarious. Sorry, my back. So, what else is the plan? Because I don't have any assignment for you to do today. You just have to have some content knowledge today. You don't have to do anything for me. But what else are you going to do today? Movies noted. Okay. All right. Good. Movies noted. Let's see here. What other cultural things can we talk about? I am sad. Today was supposed to be the opening day of baseball, and alas, nope, none of that. Um, but I was trying to think. I was like, I kind of miss watching sports on my television. It makes me sad that it's not there. But I just realized that I have the entirety of last year's Tour de France saved on my DVR. I could rewatch it. Last year's Tour de France was a journey, too. Yeah. It was a soap opera in spandex. I highly recommend it. So, Alani, what else do you have to do to get your D&D game up and running? What else is required for you to do this? Do you know what you were going to do about returning textbooks and all that kind of stuff? I have no idea, kiddo. Oh, Dr. Roach and I were talking about that last night. We don't know. We have no idea. We have no clue. None. No idea. We are flying blind. Ugh. All of our procedures don't work with this. So we're just going to have to kind of wait and see and figure it out. You know? Make sure your notes for D&D are all in order. Yeah. Make sure you know all of the parameters of the stories and all of the backgrounds of your NPCs and all that jazz. Nice. You got to finish up 1 or 2 more maps. Some tokens you have to draw. Okay. All right. There we go. Sorry, I'm in the process of flipping my mask inside out now that I have done the seams on the other side. It is a journey here. Okay, here we go. Victory. Okay. I can take out the pins. Oh, I might have sewed this one in. We'll figure that out. Sewing is always a journey. Yeah, it really is. Especially when you are not a sewing sort of person. Like I have a friend of mine who's a costumer. So like this would be just a breeze for her. She'd be like, yeah, of course I can whip it up in 15 minutes. But then again, she has a sewing machine and I don't. And I'm pretty good with projects that involve like spatial reasoning and things like that. So because of that, sewing isn't like horrific for me. But it's always, it's an experiment every single time. Well, that one, I may have just sewn I had to use safety pins because I don't have straight pins, and I may have just sewn directly on top of it. Well, crud. Well, that's an adventure. Oh well, it's okay. Not the end of the world. Similarly with this one. Well, I wonder if there's a way I can do this. Oh, fun. I think I can. Then I have to get it out the other side. Well, adventure awaits us. Well, at any rate. I will say I am briefly grateful right now that I had to take a home ec class that actually taught me how to sew. I mean, I hated it at the time. And have I ever used a serger again? No, and I probably never will. But on the other hand, I do know how to do this. And I am grateful for it. There we go. That one done. Your family basically grew up sewing, but you're still a rookie. Yeah. Yeah. My sister is a bit better at like fabric crafts and things like that. Oh, crud. No, I totally have looped the thing. That's okay. Well, what can I do? This doesn't happen with straight pins. Well, I think I can pry it apart. going to ruin my nail, but that's okay. It's not like I'm going anywhere. So at any rate, yeah, no, I find it is a useful skill, man. Several years ago, we, in the middle of, it was Comp Gov class, so I had seniors, and I had a kid who came into class, and he had a button-up shirt on that day, and somehow he'd managed to tear off a button right in the middle of the shirt, so it was gapping open. And he was like, "Oh no, I have to fix it, Miss Galloway." And so I was like, "Well, you know what? I know Miss Rankenberg has a sewing kit." So we found Miss Rankenberg and we got a sewing kit from her. And then we stopped class and we had like a 20-minute tutorial on how to sew a button and how to repair a buttonhole and everything. It was very funny. But he had to learn how to thread the needle and everything like that. It was pretty good. Going to destroy this safety pin, but that is okay. The number of times you have now seen me stab myself on camera with needles is getting to be concerning. I'm not this. I am in fact this klutzy all the time. Um, let's see here. Getting there. What am I even doing? Problem solved. Wire cutters. There. All better. For someone who is at least sort of smart, that took way more energy than I needed to. Well, Sydney, have a wonderful day. Okay. And hopefully I'll see you sometime next week. We'll set up a time to do that. Okay. And take care. Bye. And that being said, it's about time for me to end the stream. Yeah. So take care of yourselves. Go wash your hands. Find some way to enjoy the break. Okay. And I'll see you when we get back. Bye.